Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Claret and Booze. We're actually recording this the night after the game, very late. What's the time?
Yeah.
Half 11. Half 11.
Too late to go live and have loads of people asking questions.
It was. That was the plan, but unfortunately, you're going to have to make do with this. We are going to get Doddsy to phone in. He's on his way home. He was over in the section of the crowd where there was plenty of trouble. So we'll get his take on that and we'll talk about that a bit later. I missed the first half completely because, like I say, I was out. I was training tonight. Well, I weren't training. Look at me, but I was training training the boys. I was watching other people run about. But yeah, so John, go on. I'm going to hand this one over to you, mate. I did get back. I've seen the highlights of the goals in the first half, and I did watch the second half. But yeah, go on, mate. Let us know what your day was like when you got over there, because I'm assuming security was a bit weak because all them fucking flares that got brought in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, being a taxi driver in London, there was a lot of old Bill flying around yesterday for the Frankfurt fans, but also today there was a lot of them flying around Liverpool Street because the Anderlecht fans were there. Not saying they were causing any trouble in town, but they was clear and obvious in the Liverpool Street area. Obviously, only a stone's throw and a train to Stratford. Me and my boy, we got to the stadium about 20-25 minutes before kickoff, and we come in via Pudding Mill Lane entrance near the ABBA Stadium, where that is.
Yeah.
And we got told to stand still, don't move. There's about 50 West Ham fans. And then what happened was there was like horses and the police cordon. Must have been a couple of hundred Anderlecht fans being frog marched to the security gate where we normally go to, and they kept them there.
Yeah.
And they allowed us to walk behind them and in another sort of security section that they kept open for home fans. But at the time, I said to the couple of the blokes, I said, you know, there's a few hundred Anderlecht fans there, all pissed up.
Yeah.
With all due respect to the security, 20 minutes before kickoff, how stringently are they going to be able to search them?
Exactly.
All them blokes, you know? And I don't blame the security, to be honest with you. You know, look, at the end of the day, nothing happened until late in the game that we know happened with the flare situation in terms of being thrown from fan base to fan base. But those pyrotechnics, you know, as soon as we started our light show, they tried to compete with our light show, Nick. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, well, they was lighting the flares up at the start.
Yeah, so when we started doing the light show, they so they had the top and bottom tier. To be fair, great fan base singing loudly from the off before the game. They was very loud, which I knew they would be. But the stairwells where you come up the stairs into the terraces or the seating areas, whatever you want to call it, were 2 or 3 of them were pretty much like fully lit for the whole of the time that we were doing our light show. So it was quite spectacular. You know what I mean? I think our light show probably cost about 25 grand. Their one cost about £5. You know what I mean? But it was obviously they was trying to compete with us. But to be fair, what materialised later in the game, it was a bit sour. We talk about that after when we found Doddsy anyway. So
yeah.
But you know, they weren't going to be able to. They weren't going to be able to search all them blokes in good time properly, and that's obviously what happened. So, but yeah, it was a good little atmosphere over there. It wasn't full in the West Ham end by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
I'm not sure what the capacity would have been. I reckon 40 to 45.
It was in the 40s. Yeah, they did give the number or the estimated number on BT Sports. It was early 40s. I mean, it ain't a bad turnout really for a Thursday night at home.
No, not at all, mate. And, you know, as we get further in the competition, I think the attendances will creep up, obviously, and they have done already. But obviously, going forward now, I think we've qualified now, have we? Because Silky Ball beat Bucharest, didn't they? So,
I think that's it. We're done, mate, I think now.
We're done now. So, it'd be interesting in the last game against Silky Borg. I mean, it'll more than likely throw in, well, we don't know. But we'll see what happens with the attendances there. But anyway, getting back to tonight's game, good lineup. Areola as a European Cup keeper he is at the minute. At the back we had Johnson.
Zooming in, John. Mate, I'm going to make my head as big as yours. Look, there we go.
Oh, what, you're going to edit this, are you?
I'm doing it as we go. Oh, go on. Yeah, go on, mate. Sorry, go on. Starting lineup.
What do you mean? Your head's bigger than mine, you muppet.
It's not. Look, I can zoom it out. Look, it's smaller than yours. Look.
Nick, listen, don't. Enough. Right, Areola, and we had Johnson, Ogbonna, Criswell, Soufal, Lanzini, Downs, Emerson. You can take it as a back five or a back three.
Was it a back three from the start? Was it?
I thought it was, but
yeah,
it's like they're quite fluid, these, because when you're in possession, it's a 3-man. When you're out of possession, it's a 5-man. I don't mind them, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
if they work well. So across the middle, Soufal, Lanzini, Downs, Emerson. Nice to see Downs in again from the off. Bowen, Paqueta was like the focal point through the middle a little bit, and Benny. So yeah, I think you messaged and said very attacking lineup, didn't you?
I was quite happy with it. I didn't think they was going to take any chances starting Skamaka, or I didn't think they was going to start Paqueta either. To be quite honest, I was quite surprised. But I thought seeing Lanzini, Benrahma, and Paqueta in the same starting lineup, and Emerson, who's quite a cultured player as well. I thought, oh bloody hell! And from what I saw, obviously you'll go into that, but it looked like there was some nice interplay over on that left hand side, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, you could see that the players in that team wanted to entertain.
Yeah.
Paqueta, Benrahma, Bowen were trying all sorts of flicks and tricks. Some were coming off, some weren't.
Yeah.
But it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? When you have that sort of team out, you're going to get a bit of that. You're going to get a bit of lost possession. But in the main, it was exciting, and it started that way. I think, Anderlecht are no mugs, as we saw in the first game. They're not the strong Anderlecht of years gone by, but we were pretty dominant first half. And to be honest with you, we spoke about this time and time again, but again, the person who really impressed me again, amongst others tonight, I mean, Benny had a fantastic game. Bowen had a good game in the hour that he was on. Emerson did well, I thought, looked comfortable.
Second half he did, yeah.
I think he was good throughout. He was solid throughout. But Downs, again, for me, Downs just, he didn't have Rice next to him today. He didn't have Soucek. He was alongside Lanzini. And for me, Downs was, I wouldn't say he was pulling the strings, but he wanted the ball all the time. He was showing for the ball. He's calling for the ball, doing the little hand gesture, calling for the ball. And when somebody shows for the ball and wants the ball, they believe in themselves. And look, the whole Downs Soucek debate will go on and rumble on forever. But I don't remember very often seeing Soucek calling and demanding the ball. No. If anything, with all due respect, I think he sometimes shies away from the ball. But that's another story. But this is not a Downs and Soucek.
So because obviously in the first, I saw the second half, he looked very good. But throughout the game, Downs was quite dominant in the middle again, was he?
Yeah, honestly, mate, he just finds the pockets. He's just constantly on the move. He's constantly checking his shoulders. He is very much a bit of a mutation between Rice and Noble, very similar. I've said it before. You've said it before. We've all said it before. He just oozes confidence. And yes, people are going to say, well, it's only Anderlecht. It ain't the Premier League. But to be honest with you, mate, I can't see it being much longer before he gets a start in the Premier League. I'll be surprised. I just think he looks... how old is he, 19?
No, he's 23. He's older than Deck.
Was he 23? Okay, he's older than Deck. He looks about 19.
I know.
He looks very young. All right, but he's inexperienced in terms of top flight football and European football, and he doesn't look out of his depth. Again, it is early days, but I really like the look of him. But also, Benny was on fire tonight. I thought he was exceptional. Very, very attack-minded, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
Was making a lot of the right decisions tonight in the main, and I just thought he played very, very well. He was like the Benny that we want to see more regular, and I think he was given more of an attacking role and maybe a little bit more of a free role,
Yeah. He looked to be, obviously I only watched the second half, but he looked to be enjoying himself tonight. His body language.
Look, as we know, he's capable. He is more than capable of moments of brilliance. We know that, right? And Moyes has said it himself, but more often than not, his end product can let him down. But tonight, I thought he was enjoying himself. He was attack minded. He was showing a bit of flair between him and Paqueta.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Benny is playing alongside someone like Paqueta might bring out the best in Benny and might enable him to enjoy himself a little bit more. It's a difficult one for me because I think Benny needs a run in a team, and being a confidence player, I'm not sure how stop starting in terms of Premier League, no, Europe, yes. I'm not sure how that will affect him because I
No,
think he will want to play every game. But that's gonna come down to Moyes at the end of the day, isn't it? But yeah, he
it
was
is.
brilliant, and he scored. Did you see the goal?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen all the highlights
Yeah,
from the
sorry.
first half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it was
it was a
a fantastic
lovely
free
free
kick, wasn't
kick,
it?
lovely free
Yeah,
kick. Yeah,
it was textbook. It was.
Cresswell sort of done the fake run. He took a
Yeah,
he sort of dismantled the wall. They followed Cresswell, and Benny's just
yeah,
hit the gap. He's hit the gap and absolutely pinpoint. Beautiful goal, wasn't it?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've obviously had the privilege of seeing it back on the replay, but
Yeah,
I was down the other end from where it was, and to me, it looked pinpoint in the bottom corner over the
yeah. It
wall,
was. It was.
pinpoint bottom corner. I thought it was a textbook free kick to be honest with you, but you probably saw it better than me. And yeah, we were comfortable. They had a bit of the ball. They flattered to deceive up front. I thought the guy that they bought from Wolves was good again. I like the
Fabio
way he
Silva.
plays.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really like him. He's an intelligent. He's only young. He's intelligent. He's always on the move. I enjoyed watching him in the first leg, and tonight he didn't look like scoring, but he was, to some extent, a bit of a thorn in the side with his constant movement, over and over again.
there was a moment after the game with David Moyes and Fabio Silva where he went over to him at the end.
Really,
Yeah. Had a chat with him, whispered in his ear.
he wouldn't. I didn't know. I knew he left Wolves, but I didn't know he went
He's
there.
on
Obviously, he
loan. He's on loan. He's not. It's
he's
not
on
a.
loan.
Yeah.
Right, okay, he's not permanent. Right,
No.
he would be a good little player for us to have a look at. He knows the Premier League. He's
Yeah.
played in the Premier League, obviously a few games for Wolves. He's got great movement. He's young. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they looked at him and thought, yeah, he can do a job for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like.
He was very gentlemanly with our players as well. It's like when Dawson went off, he kind of there was a
Yeah,
nice bit of it. He sort of patted him and give him a thumbs up and all that sort of thing. Probably saying, "Thank
yeah.
fuck you're going off."
Well, before Dawson went off, obviously
Yeah.
his first player marking was the old Ogbono injury
Did he?
after
Did he?
22 minutes.
Was that 22 minutes? So what was that? So we went one. Was that 1-0? Then Ogbonna got injured. Then we got the
Yeah,
second.
it was 1-0. Ogbono went down. I mean, every time he goes down, you worry, didn't you?
Yeah.
But obviously, with a ready-made replacement on the bench in big old Craig Dawson coming on, you
Yeah.
sort of think, well, that's all right. We've got a bit of cover there. So the game continued. They had a bit of ball. I don't think Avriola had a save to make that I can think of note. He had a few sighters, which
Yeah.
he dealt with very, very comfortably. But apart from that, they had nothing. And yeah, then we had another fantastic finish from Bowen. I think Paqueta might have played it into him or Benny. I can't remember.
No, it was Emerson. Emerson bombed down the
Emerson. There you go.
Emerson on the overlap.
Emerson.
He sort of carried the ball through. Really good work on the left hand side, and
Right.
he's just played a lovely little ball back to Bowen. Bowen's it was really sort of fizzed into him, so he had to control it well. He's controlled it, controlled it, set it, and struck the ball with inside about a fucking second, and it was a thunderous effort, wasn't it? He really put his foot through that.
That's what I remember from it. It was a bit of a net buster, wasn't it?
He fizzed it in. He
He
fizzed it in. Yeah, it was a really good goal.
Yeah,
I think his first touch
it
could have
was.
been better, but he kind of because he he received the ball, but then he kind of the way he set it and then struck the ball. It was brilliant. He done it. Like I say, he seemed to do it all in one motion. Very good. Reminds me of myself, John, over at Marland AstroTurf.
You would have probably done your knee or something, wouldn't you? Jesus Christ, won't go that far. But yeah, he had a good game. It was a great goal, great finish. Yeah, and 2-0 up, cruising really. Paqueta got another little yellow card as well. I don't know if you noticed that. He likes a little bit of a tackle. He will get a few. He will get a few yellows, and he already has for us. I think he's probably got about 2 or 3 already. But he's that sort of temperament,
Well, I didn't see any of Paqueta tonight because I think he came off at half time, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So the second half, when the team come back out for the second half, the only change was Paqueta off for Fornals.
Yeah,
obviously Dawson had already come on. And the second half kicked off pretty much in the same vein, really. As you would imagine, they tried to take the game to us a bit more, but we looked comfortable. I don't think they would have scored from open play, at any time,
No
personally
way.
speaking.
No way. They could have played till midnight. They wouldn't have scored from open play.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, they just looked a bit toothless, if I'm honest with you. But
yeah.
And then we had the unfortunate incident when Dawson, who had obviously come on for Ogbonna, you've seen it back on the replay. I mean, at the time, there was just like a unison of "ooh" in the crowd because I couldn't see exactly what happened. They just looked like they ran into each other at immense speed.
Well, Dawson had it covered. Basically, he was clear. There was a ball over the top, and Downs is backpedaling to sort of try and get back and cover the space. But if anything, maybe Dawson could have given him a shout. But it was Downs sort of ran into Dawson at quite a rate of knots. But Dawson kind of poleaxed him in the back of the head. But I think the impact injury is Dawson's come off worse, clearly. So
I think also though what you got to appreciate is that obviously with Aguerd nowhere near back yet, Ogbonna, I think I heard on the radio that Moyes might have said he maybe sort of felt a tight hamstring or something.
Right. Okay.
So I think there was a precaution taking Ogbonna off in such a game.
Yeah.
With Dawson, apparently Dawson went off with a dead leg. So although he could have played on to some extent, I think there's no point. The game's dead and buried. And, so we had a strange defence at the end because he even brought on, before Dawson went off injured, he brought on Rice for Cresswell, I think.
That's right,
and, Rice was playing at left centre-back. Which was very unusual. Just watching him there, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I wanted him on the ball, but it became a bit of a. It
might be something that we see more of though if fucking defenders keep on dropping like flies. It's a natural thing to do is to drop Rice back in there if we're because I think it does depend. I think you can play Cresswell and Johnson and Soufal as part of a back three, but you need a leader in there, don't you? And if we start. Without Dawson, without I don't know. I think Rice could do that. Rice organises, he talks, he shouts, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, what you'd get if Dawson can't make Sunday, you're going to have Kehrer and Zuma, aren't you?
Yeah.
And, I mean, Kehrer is more of a leader, I say, than Zuma.
What was Soufal like tonight? To me, it looked like all of the attacks were focused down the left-hand side to me today, which. In the second half, it looked that way.
Yes and no. I think what you got to remember is on the left we had Cresswell and Benrahma
and Emerson,
and Emerson, and on the right we sort of had two defenders, didn't we? And then before we got to Bowen, you got Johnson, Soufal, and then Bowen.
Yeah.
I mean, Bowen had a great game, I thought. So he did get a lot of the ball, but I think Soufal had a lot of the ball. Yeah, he didn't do bad tonight. He didn't do bad tonight at all, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah.
But overall, we were comfortable. And then, I mean, I didn't see the penalty incident because I was too busy watching the crowd trouble for about 10 minutes. So I was just focused on the crowd trouble, seats being thrown at each other and flares being thrown at each other. And then all of a sudden, my boy's gone, there's a penalty. And I was like, what happened? He went, I don't know. I was watching the fans. So
have you not seen it back?
No, I haven't. Have you?
He got the ball, Johnson. But it was a high foot, so the guy's going through to strike the ball, and he's kind of come up studs up. It was clumsy, to be quite honest. If that was in the Premier League, would have been fuming.
I didn't even see who did it. I didn't even know Johnson.
No, it was Johnson. It was Johnson. Yeah. Right. So it kind of the ball's bounced in, and their player's gone to strike the ball, and Johnson's got a toe on it, but kind of just under knee height almost. And the players followed through and kicked the bottom of his foot, so it was quite a dangerous, tackle, really. But yeah, it didn't matter in the end anyway, did it? But to me, like you say, I think it was they was never going to score from open play. It was like a second half. It was like a training game sort of pace to it.
It was.
We were just keeping the ball, knocking it about, but it ain't like we was being pressured. We was just kind of knocking. It was really slow, backwards and forwards, side to side.
It was very, very comfortable, very training game-esque. but we didn't need to chase a third goal. So what do you
No, no.
expect? Keep the ball. Yeah, no, I know. But then when they got the penalty and scored it, I did notice that we all of a sudden we did start trying to get a third, and I thought, whoa,
Yeah.
calm down. We've got a very makeshift defence. Let's not do anything silly. There was no need to get a third goal. You know, it doesn't matter if you win 2-1 or 3-1, does it? But it was a comfortable all-round performance, to be honest with you, mate. I mean, they were far more threatening for me over there than they were here. Tonight, they were as a team, Anderlecht were very underwhelming. I've got to say.
Okay, no, I agree, mate. Well, what we'll do, we'll give Doddsy a call in a second. But before we do that, mate, give us 3 standout players from you, because you watched the entire game, and give us your scores on them, and give us a man of the match.
On the 3 players?
Yeah, so give us 3 standout players for you.
Benny.
Yeah.
Bowen.
Yeah.
And Downs. Yeah. My man of the match, I'd give it to Benny, because I thought it was some way back to his best to some extent.
Yeah.
A nice free kick as well. And he looked happy on the pitch. He
did. His body language was good. It's
like
good.
Enjoying himself.
It's good to see, isn't it?
Was
really.
Good. It's good to, yeah, definitely. It's good to see. But any of them 3 probably could have got man of the match. There was a fag paper in it between them, you know. But I'd give it to Benny personally. But they was all close.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Okay, mate. Well, should we try and give Doddsy a call?
Yeah, let's give Doddsy a call.
Because we've been getting reports, haven't we? And I don't know if you've all seen the report on 6'2", the news article written by Stelios, with information fed through to him by Sean Whetstone, saying that the crowd trouble was spoiled the game.
I thought, to be honest with you, I'll be totally honest with you.
Added to it.
It added to it because the second half was boring.
Yeah.
I know that sounds bad, doesn't it? But
let's see if I can get Richard Dodds in. Hang on, I've got his number, haven't I?
Oh, guess who got noticed again today, being famous that I am over there.
Go on, mate. Go on.
Yeah, mate. I met Virgil. Yeah, I met a German guy called Abe. He said he watches us. Lovely fella. Travels over from he travels over from Cologne to watch West Ham regularly. He had a few friends with him, but yeah, really nice guy.
Oh, was that the one you said knows Nigel?
He said he knew Nigel and that. Yeah, he knows Nigel and that. So yeah, really nice guy. He reckons that I'm great and you're a knob, basically. Hello, mate.
Hello, Doddsy.
Hello, buddy. How you doing? You all right?
Very well, mate. Very well. Right, we're not live, so I'm bringing you straight into the pre-record, mate. You're on with me and John.
Oh, okay, mate. No worries. I'll try and put the accent on, but I can't promise. I'm joking.
That's fine. That's fine, mate.
We will be putting subtitles up. Don't worry.
Well, very, very briefly, Doddsy. Before we sort of get on to the crowd trouble, what was your take on the game today?
I thought we were okay. I didn't think we were. The result was the most important thing, I think, for me. So, unfortunately, like it was 25, 30 minutes to go. There was so much crowd trouble. You know me already. I was more focused on the crowd trouble than I was the full game. So the last 25 were oblivious to the game. So,
right.
So I thought Bowen's goal was taken very well. I thought the free kick was quality. I thought the free kick.
It really was. It was a brilliant goal.
Yeah. So that's where my views are, mate. So if I get it wrong, you know where I am.
But look, at the end of the day, it's job done now. We're kind of, I think that's it. We are top of the group. We've qualified. The next 2 games are they're almost dead rubbers now, aren't they? Doesn't really matter, which is really handy when you consider we've got this congested fixture period that we're in at the moment up through till the World Cup. So it's going to be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my view. We won the game. Like I say, I'm sure I'll watch it back and go, oh yeah, I didn't see that, I didn't see this. But like I say, the 2 goals were taken well, and that's what it matters. We won it with 3 and move on to the next one.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Right. So crowd trouble. You sit near the magic wall, the new wall that's gone up.
Oh yes. Yes.
Did you get pelted with a flare?
No, mate, didn't get pelted with a flare, but obviously I was full view. So I sit about 6 rows back and 3 seats in from the wall. So quite close to the Anderlecht fans. Like I say, we have a good banter back and forth during the game and everything. But like I say, the last 25, 30 minutes, that's when it fully went off. And it was quite nasty at times. And like I say, players going back and forth. And then it's no different than Zagreb. Someone obviously, I think it's in their end, ripped up a couple of seats and everything, started chucking them, and then it was back and forth. So the seat was going this way, that way. Loads of stuff going over. Then obviously the riot police came piling down around our side of the wall, down into their end, and up the side of the stewards moved out. So that's the most of what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit of a theme of these European games, isn't it? It seems to be. Mm. It does. They're a bit lively, aren't they?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, Zagreb was when the lights went down, all hell broke loose. Mustard bottles coming over, tomato sauce bottles, and the famous water, the 5 whatever, 10 litre bottle back and forth. But it's that bit, they chuck at us, or we chuck at them, they chuck it back. And that's what happened tonight with the seats. The flares, I've seen a couple of videos where the flares did come over into our end behind us, didn't come down to the front bit and everything. But yeah, I saw the flares coming over, and like I say, it was back and forth, and they were lively, they were up to it. But it was what we were warned about, really. Like I say, when I was over in Belgium, I didn't see any trouble between Belgium and West Ham. No. And tonight, they were up to it. But fair play to them, they came strong, didn't they? They filled the away end, and they travelled in numbers. So, they travelled in numbers.
They had a good day out. I think they've been drinking all day, haven't they? So,
absolutely. To be fair, I was quite happy to give the Dolan from Tottenham some abuse because he was warming up in front of us up and down. He got a bit of Dodds abuse, which was quite funny as well. It was a lively occasion. So as long as nobody gets hurt, and I'm sure somebody will have, unfortunately, but as long as no one gets hurt, a bit of banter back and forth and all of that stuff, I'm no problem with all of that.
Adds a bit of spice to the atmosphere as well. Now, I don't know whether you can clear this up. We've been having a bit of a to and fro on WhatsApp. You would be best positioned to clear this up and clarify it. John thinks he's got the answer, but the man that ran on the pitch and basically showed about as much quality on the ball as his team that I think he supports. Did he come from the West Ham end, or did he come from the Anderlecht fans?
So he came from our corner. That's what I'm happy to say. So he came from our corner. Now, whether he was being a dick, but he kept on doing the West Ham sign. So he kept on doing the Hammers cross on the way out. So he could have been trying to be clever and, throws off and everything. But he definitely came from down our corner end. So I'm not saying he didn't come from the Anderlecht end, but from that corner is where he came. Hard to tell. But like I say, I was taking some videos. My daughter lives over in Qatar, so I'm a twat for video and stuff to send her over because she misses it. Like, you never know. And if I don't get a goal, if I don't get a celebration, she's kicking off. So I do video a lot, unfortunately. But he was definitely doing the West Ham sign on the way back out. I don't know if that proves anything. Yeah, he came from this corner down, right in our corner.
That could have been a self-preservation thing from him, to be quite honest.
Absolutely.
He had a terrible moustache though, didn't he?
he did. He
could not look more European. He couldn't look more European if he tried. He still had a handlebar moustache, basically, and I don't see anyone having him at West Ham.
I can't argue that. Like I said, I wouldn't want to say absolutely he came from their end or our end, but like I say, he was definitely doing the irons on the way out and everything. Not that proves anything. So.
Just quickly, Doddsy, I've got a question for you. You was down that end. I'll sit at the other end. I'll sit right at the other end. Is it me, or were Anderlecht singing a lot of their songs in English?
Absolutely, mate. Spot on.
So they were singing. They were singing your effing shit for ages.
Really? Yeah, absolutely. In English. as you boys will say, and I'll put it there now, better English than I'm speaking with my accent. You know what I mean, my accent?
I don't know about that, Doddy. You're speaking fine.
I think we better let Doddsy get home because he's got to get that tractor all the way home.
What? I said what?
This tractor's not going to drive it straight on his own. I've got a field to harvest and I've got some people to feed. And these six fingers can't drive the tractor on its own, boys.
Well, good. Anyway, Doddsy.
Yeah, no, they were good English.
Anyway, Doddsy, good man. We're gonna wrap this up shortly. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll be doing
always a pleasure.
We'll be doing we'll be doing our booze up show after the Southampton game. So that'll be quite late. Be in the evening. So that'll be a live one. So we'll phone you on that one as well, mate.
Absolutely, mate. No problems. And always a pleasure. And stay safe for everybody. Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Safe
Thanks.
journey, mate.
Cheers, mate.
See you later. Take care,
Cheers, guys. Bye.
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 Well, that were Doddsy.
I don't know what he said there, but I tell you what, it sounded very good, didn't it? Yeah, so
it did.
They were singing so many songs in English, it was just making me laugh. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why it made me laugh, but it just did.
That is odd, though, isn't it? That is a bit odd.
Yeah, but I think it probably, if they want to tell us we're shit, do you know what shit is in Belgium?
No.
So it wouldn't have had the same effect, would it?
No, so what you're saying is they put some prep into this, is what you're saying.
Well, most people speak English around the world, don't they? Let's be honest about it. Well, they do. They say English people are ignorant for not learning languages, but everyone wants to speak English to us as soon as they find out we're English. So
exactly.
There's no point. There's no point at all, you know?
Right.
But yeah, no, it was a good game. It was a good game.
It is job done. It's job done. We've won 4 out of 4. We've smashed the group. Yeah, we've got, like I say, those two games now. We can forget about them, can't we? Can forget about them 2 games. Who is it?
Just wondering.
Silky Bulganoo. Silky Bulganoo.
Silky Ball, Bucharest away.
That's
Silky
it. Yeah.
Ball
So fucking just that they're.
How many games we got left before the World Cup, Nick? Quite a few still.
Quite a few. We've got.
Southampton.
We're in game 4 of 11 in October. Is it 4 of 11 or 4 of 9? 4 of 9 in October.
Southampton to come, haven't we? Liverpool, Southampton.
Yeah.
We've got some tough fixtures, but I mean, I'm not going to say anything, Nick, but I'm sort of starting to think that even you might think Moyes has turned the corner.
I ain't getting the humble crumble out yet.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it. I said I'm not getting the humble crumble out yet, mate.
I'm not asking you to have no humble crumble, mate.
No, but look. At the end of the day, what I'm waiting for is, we know we've got good players now. If he's not, I just wish I could have watched that game today, because when I saw you saw my message earlier on. When I saw the starting lineup, I was like, oh.
It was nice. It was good stuff. They played some pretty stuff. Look, I'm not sure that team. I'm not sure you could get away with that team in the Premier League. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because it was,
not with Lanzini in the middle and Downs. No,
exactly.
No, God,
you need Rice and all that.
Yeah.
But Moyes has tried something different for him by you'd never thought he would have done that at any point.
No.
Look, Benny's going to have to find it. Benny's going to have to work very hard to get back into the starting lineup, or somebody picks up an injury. But I think he's got to start getting a go in the Premier League now. He's got to start keeping his confidence up. I don't, if Cornet's out for a little while longer, there's no point having 4 nails on the left. Let's have Benny on the left. Let's just give him a start. We can change it further in the game. You know what I mean?
Personally, I like Cornet. I like what I've seen of him. I think Benny's potentially better. I think he's more tricky. I think he's a better provider. I know they're very different players. Cornet's a bit more direct, and Benny's more tricky. But I don't know. Benny was one of our best, if not the best attacker at the start of the season, wasn't he? In the first few games, the most impressive player. He was unfortunate to lose his place. So
he was.
Yeah, it would be good for him to sort of bring him back in and give him some time in the Premier League, because I do think that we're going to need that. I think we get especially in the upcoming games against the likes of Southampton. I mean, we might be a little bit hamstrung in the way that we play now because of these injuries. But you're saying it's a dead leg. It didn't look like a dead leg to me.
I think a dead leg's a couple of days. Maybe
he's holding his knee, mate. He was holding his knee.
Well, Moyes said. I mean, I know he might be all cloak and dagger. But Moyes said it was a hamstring for Oggy and dead leg for Dawson.
Yeah, but that'd be a bit of a killer, because he's been important, hasn't he, since he's just come back, as he always is.
Well, if you take him into account for today, I think since he's been back, we've won 5 out of 5.
There
I
you
know
go.
he didn't play a lot today, but
Yeah.
just saying, even before today. But Southampton ain't playing particularly well. We know they're going to turn the corner at some point. Let's hope it's not against us on Sunday. But if Dawson's not available, then it will hamper the team somewhat.
Yeah.
But that's defensively. I think it's the midfield that needs to be looked at because players are coming back into form. Notably Bowen. Benny is sort of sitting patiently waiting, and when he's getting his opportunity, he's doing okay. If he can continue making the right decision like he did today and having a good end product, more often than not, he can't be far away from starting.
He shouldn't be overlooked. But like I say, that's down to the big man, isn't it? That's down to him.
You can call him the Messiah if you want.
Will never happen. No, no. He was asked again after the game. What his thoughts were.
That's what I do. I win.
That's literally just says it on Luke all the time.
That's what I do. I win.
That's it.
Well, it's true, though, isn't it? He does. He won. What's the problem?
I know, but anyway, mate. Right, that's us done. That's 36 minutes for a pre-record. That's enough for a match review for that. So yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. If you enjoyed our
midnight.
I know if you enjoyed our show, please don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. That's us done. We will see you on Saturday night for a special show that we've got planned with Mr. Nigel Khan, myself, Gary, and John. Not going to reveal what it is yet, but it could get quite heated. It's not intended to get quite heated, but we know how these things go. So yes, I'm sure you can guess what it's going to be about to a degree, especially with you poking the bear.
Ain't hard poking the bear, is it?
I know. And then we'll on Sunday. The plan is I'm going to do a watch along. It could be solo or it could be with John, depending on whether John can do it. But what John will be joining me for is the bit. Definitely, you'll be joining me after the game, won't you? For the match reaction, match review type thing after the game.
Yeah. But we'll be on the night as well, won't we?
And then we're going to do the night as well. So we've got loads of shows coming up. So it's all good. So yeah, like I say, like it, drop a subscribe on it. Job done. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Nick. You've been John. Come on, you irons.
Good and Abend.